So just relax and do the best you can. You might be tired. So let's just land. Bring with us whatever we have got going today, this evening. Doesn't matter. Just come as you are. And settle the mind. Take a nice deep breath. And some of us are at desks, so if you are and your feet are down, make sure they're parallel. Something under your feet and your sits bones are raised. Hands in the meditation mudra. You can support your knees with a couple of cushions if that's helpful. Shoulders are over the hips. And lengthen the spine. You can imagine your spine is a string of pearls of light, stretching from the base all the way up through the crown of the head. Head is slightly tipped forward, eyes are down, looking along the length of the nose. There's Manuel, welcome. Tip of the tongue on the roof of the mouth, and the lips are slightly apart. Let's bring your attention to the crown of the head and relax the scalp, the forehead, the eyes, the nose, the cheeks, that area around the mouth. Excuse me. And bring your attention to the back of the head and relax the scalp there, the base of the skull. Go into your ears and relax the inner ear, the jaw, back of the tongue, the temples. And just release any tension in the back of the neck, the shoulders. And just allow your shoulder blades to just drop down. Relax the throat, the chest, and the belly, and the limbs, hands, fingers, and feet and toes. And bring your mind to the breath. Just notice the sensation of the air as you're inhaling, slightly cooler than the air you're exhaling. Just notice if there's any sounds in your environment. So just allow those sounds to be there, whether you have people or pets. Just notice if you have any sounds that are distracting you. Just notice what attracts your attention, what's distracting you. And then just allow that to fade into the background. And just notice your thoughts as they arise. Allow them to abide and flow on. A river of mental moments without engaging or making up any stories. And just notice, put yourself on the riverbank, put your river of mental moments in the river, and just sit back and watch like an interested observer, like an objective observer, a scientist. And just notice the difference between when you dive in, you're caught up, you're not free. And then when you sit on the bank, don't engage, you're free from your thoughts. Nothing can touch you. Let's bring the mind back to the breath. And let's bring to mind all the people of our life. The ones we love, the ones we're in functional, healthy, loving relationships with, supportive. Then there's those people who are difficult for us. And then there's the strangers. Hundreds. I passed hundreds today in cars. As I was sitting in a car having lunch with a friend, hundreds of cars passing. And you see their little faces in the car, looking intently, thank goodness, at the road. But I wondered, how many of these people will I ever see again? I wonder if one of them might be a good friend to me sometime down the track. Maybe. So we think the friend and the enemy and the stranger, really the only people we ever pay terribly much attention to are the people that annoy us and the people that we love. And we're only really concerned about the people we love. Everybody else can just we don't care about them. But the idea is we try and train our mind. Like, it doesn't mean we have to invite everybody home for dinner, but we just try and train our mind to think of others equally. And because of karma and connections, our relationships are going to be according to how we have been with people in the past. So of course we're going to have people that we love and that we have a much, much better connection with, a closer connection with. But we try and think equally about all others. Why? Because everybody wishes to be happy and doesn't want to suffer, and everybody has this unbelievable capacity for this enlightened mind. So we think we'll do this practice this evening for the benefit of all these beings in our life, and by extension all sentient beings, and for ourselves as we're making our way along our spiritual path. So just think there is no negativity that cannot be purified, and this purification process is basically a psychological one. So we create negativity with our mind, so we can equally create positivity with our mind. So the first of the four opponent powers is the power of regret. And sincerely regret from the depths of your heart anything you have done to harm any living being on this day, in this life, and in all past lives. And you can think of specific actions of both your body and your speech. And then in general regret all. And the reason to regret is based on this logic of karma. We experience everything due to our past karma, our past actions. So having harmed others, we ourselves will necessarily experience suffering in the future. And we know from our present suffering we don't want any more of it. So the logic therefore is to remove the karmic seeds before they ripen as future suffering for us. And think like this: I regret from the depths of my heart having harmed others with my body and my speech, having broken my vows, because I do not want the future suffering. I'm sick of suffering. And also regret any anger, attachment and the rest, the cause of why we harm others. And again think, I'm sick of suffering. And think, well, what can I do about it? Whom can I turn to? So here we come to the power of reliance. We turn to the Buddha, the doctor, who has the methods that we can use to purify. So it's really important to understand we're not asking for forgiveness. We're not just seeing this person as this one that can change our lives for us. The methods can change our lives, the ones that we engage in ourselves. So we're relying upon Vajrasattva's methods to heal ourselves, to purify ourselves. So you imagine Vajrasattva upon the crown of your head, and so he's about maybe an inch or two above the crown of your head. And you can also imagine this is the mind of your Lama, your teacher, manifesting in this form for your benefit. And he's made of this radiant, blissful white light, sitting cross-legged on a white lotus, which although born out of mud, is untainted by that mud, just like our enlightened potential, born out of our delusions, yet untainted by them. And he has this radiant, beautiful face. His eyes are long and peaceful and full of love and compassion for us. And he has a sweet red mouth. His hair is black and held up in a top knot. His arms are crossed at his heart, the left underneath the right. The left is holding a bell representing wisdom. The right is holding a vajra, which represents the indestructibility of compassion. And their being crossed represents the union of these two, which symbolizes enlightenment itself, the development of infinite wisdom and infinite compassion. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. By this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva, may I reach Buddhahood so as to benefit all sentient beings. So the little section on developing compassion, which is a wish for others to be free from suffering, we need to rely upon other beings. So the very beings we have harmed and those who have harmed us, by developing compassion for them. So think particularly of people that you've harmed recently and in the past, and then generally all beings we have ever harmed since beginningless time. And then just remember those people who have harmed you, and just remind yourself that the harm that they've caused you is going to ripen as suffering for them in the future. So make a strong aspiration to do this practice of purification for the sake of all these sentient beings, and think, I must purify for their sake. And so next is the power of the remedy, and this is the actual medicine, doing the practice of purification. So we start by purifying the body, and we do this purification practice using recitation of the mantra and visualizing light and nectar. So first, Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful white nectar, like coming out of a hose, very forcefully, or a waterfall, from his heart, and it arcs around and enters your crown and pours into your entire body, filling you completely. And it keeps pouring into you until it forces out of your lower orifices all the harm you have ever done to any living being with your body in the form of inky liquid, and this pours out of you and disappears into space, not one atom left, as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mimpiyata Sawakama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tathagata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mimpiyata Sawakama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tathagata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mimpiyata Sawakama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tathagata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mimpiyata Sawakama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tathagata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta meba sawasiti mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ho bhagavan sawa tatagata vajramame mutsa vajrabala mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dida mebawa sutokaya mebawa supokaya mebawa Anarakta mebawa sawasiti mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ho bhagavan sawa tatagata vajramame mutsa vajrabala mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dida mebawa sutokaya mebawa supokaya mebawa Anarakta mebawa sawasiti mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ho bhagavan sawa tatagata vajramame mutsa vajrabala mahasamaya sattva aham pe. So be delighted that all the harm you have ever done to any sentient being with your body is now completely purified, and think there is no way you could do anything but benefit others now with your body. And the next is a purification of speech. So again, Vajrasattva very happily sends powerful nectar from his heart chakra, and this arcs around and forcefully enters your crown, filling your entire body, except this time forcing up the top of your body all the negativity of your speech, and this overflows and disappears into space, not one atom left. So imagine all the gossip and the harsh speech, the useless speech and lying and talking badly about others behind their backs. All of this is purified by this powerful nectar filling you as you recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dida mebawa sutokaya mebawa supokaya mebawa anarakta mebawa sawasiti mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ho bhagavan sawa tatagata vajramame mutsa vajrabala mahasamaya sattva aham pe Om Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dida mebawa sutokaya mebawa supokaya mebawa Anarakta mebawa sawasiti mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ho bhagavan sawa tatagata vajramame mutsa vajrabala mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dida mebawa sutokaya mebawa supokaya mebawa Anarakta mebawa sawasiti mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ho bhagavan sawa tatagata vajramame mutsa vajrabala mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dida mebawa sutokaya mebawa supokaya mebawa Anarakta mebawa sawasiti mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ho bhagavan sawa tatagata vajramame mutsa vajrabala mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dida mebawa sutokaya mebawa supokaya mebawa Anarakta mebawa sawasiti mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ho bhagavan sawa tatagata vajramame mutsa vajrabala mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dida mebawa sutokaya mebawa supokaya mebawa Anarakta mebawa sawasiti mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha ho bhagavan sawa tatagata vajramame mutsa vajrabala mahasamaya sattva aham pe. So again, feel so happy that your speech is now completely purified, and imagine it's not possible to do anything other than benefit others now with your speech. How amazing. So next is a purification of the mind, and Vajrasattva now very compassionately sends powerful beams of light, this time from his heart chakra, and this arcs around and enters your crown and fills your entire being. So it's just the same as when you walk into a dark room and you switch on a light. That light instantly dispels the darkness in the room. Excuse me, so it's just the same here as when the light from Vajrasattva's heart touches your heart, all the darkness of the negativity of the mind, so all your depression and anger and attachment and grasping and neediness and grudges and bitterness and jealousies, all of this is instantly dispelled, not one atom left as we recite the mantra. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dida mebowa sutokaya mebowa supokaya mebowa anarakta mebowa sawasiti mimpiyata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tatagata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dida mebowa sutokaya mebowa supokaya mebowa anarakta mebowa sawasiti mimpiyata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tatagata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dida mebowa sutokaya mebowa supokaya mebowa anarakta mebowa sawasiti mimpiyata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tatagata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dida mebowa sutokaya mebowa supokaya mebowa anarakta mebowa sawasiti mimpiyata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tatagata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dida mebowa sutokaya mebowa supokaya mebowa anarakta mebowa sawasiti mimpiyata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tatagata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dida mebowa sutokaya mebowa supokaya mebowa anarakta mebowa sawasiti mimpiyata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tatagata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dida mebowa sutokaya mebowa supokaya mebowa anarakta mebowa sawasiti mimpiyata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tatagata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe. So be delighted that all your delusions, which are the source of all of our own suffering and the cause of why we harm others with our body and our speech, are totally purified, gone. And think there is no space in your heart now for anything other than love and kindness and forgiveness and wisdom and bliss and compassion. And so the next is a purification of the imprints of negativity of the body, speech and mind. So just imagine this time Guru Vajrasattva is sending light and nectar. And you can imagine, you can recite a couple of mantras each for the visualizations of the body and of the speech and of the mind that we've just done. Or just imagine light and nectar pouring into you, filling you completely and eradicating even the subtlest imprints of negative energy from your mind as you recite the mantra. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dida mebowa sutokaya mebowa supokaya mebowa anarakta mebowa sawasiti mimpiyata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tatagata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dida mebowa sutokaya mebowa supokaya mebowa anarakta mebowa sawasiti mimpiyata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tatagata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dida mebowa sutokaya mebowa supokaya mebowa anarakta mebowa sawasiti mimpiyata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tatagata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dida mebowa sutokaya mebowa supokaya mebowa anarakta mebowa sawasiti mimpiyata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tatagata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva Hom Pe. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sapokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tathagata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sapokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tathagata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sapokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasiti Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tathagata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe. Now feel completely purified. Not one atom of negativity left in your mind stream. Even the subtlest obscurations to omissions have been removed. So the next is a pretty crucial step in this process of purification is called resolve. And this is where we make a decision to refrain from harming. And for those of you who are in the Buddhism in a nutshell, that's one of the moralities, is to refrain from harming. Wisdom wing, pretty basic. But we just make a decision that we're going to try and do this, and find how amazing it is. Automatically, somehow that ant isn't actually under your foot anymore, because you've decided you don't want to harm things. So somehow they don't end up getting in your way. I know it sounds a little bizarre. But you make a decision. So already once you've made a decision, it becomes easier. And then you actively follow up on that decision. You think, okay, so I'm going to work on something. So maybe it's something to do with my speech, or maybe I just forget and accidentally swat a mosquito or a fly or something. So you try to make it so you're a little bit more alert about other people around you, other beings around you, and how your words might be landing on people's minds and hearts. So you can just make a decision for the next 5 minutes, 30 seconds. I'm just going to refrain from something. Maybe you give people a side eye, or kind of roll your eyes when someone's doing something stupid. It might hurt their feelings. So just think about what it is that you might be doing that's harming, and then try and think about refraining from it. And when you make a decision like this, it's like an aspiration. It kind of helps you, gives you courage to make a change. So imagine Vajrasattva is delighted with us, wanting to merge with your mind, melts into white light and absorbs into you through your crown, and think, my Guru's body, speech and mind, Vajrasattva's body, speech and mind, and my own body, speech and mind are the same thing. And LAMA YESHE used to call that union oneness. So next, Rinpoche recommends to meditate on the emptiness of the three circles. In emptiness there is no I, the creator of negative karma. There is no action of creating negative karma, and there is no negative karma created. So at whatever level you understand emptiness, place your mind there for a little while. And you can think of all phenomena as being empty. They do not exist from their own side. Or you can think maybe the way things are appearing to me may not necessarily be the way they exist. So let's just dedicate all the merit, all the positive energy we've created this evening doing this purification to all living beings, thinking, may all the virtuous karma I've created from doing this practice ripen as my enlightenment for the sake of sentient beings as quickly as possible. And for His Holiness, the wish-granting, wish-fulfilling jewel, source of every single benefit and happiness in this world, to the incomparably kind Tenzin Gyatso I beseech, may all your holy wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. And for Lama Zopa Rinpoche, you who uphold the subduer's moral way, who serves as the bountiful bearer of all, sustaining, preserving and spreading Manjana's victorious doctrine, who masterfully accomplishes magnificent prayers honouring the three jewels, savour of myself and others, your disciples, please live long. And for Lama Ursel, Venerable One, to you whose kindness exceeds that of all the conquerors, for those wanderers in far-off places, especially the West, Mindful of your loving concern for us in intentionally descending again into a family of a far distant land, we make this request. O Lama, please live long. And for Geshe Cherub, beloved teacher, leading your students toward wisdom and compassion, explaining through exacting discernment the steps of the graduated path, you are the unequaled guide. Please live a long and stable life. And there we are, gone like a dream yet again. Thank you very much, everybody. Lots of love, and I will see some of you tomorrow morning. And thank you very much for hosting, Shayla. Okay, take care, everybody. Sleep well,
Thank you,
and
Venerable.
I'll see
Thank
you
you, Venerable.
tomorrow.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Sheila.
Bye. Thank you.